Hey y'all, so I wanted to come back with a little piece, like a little nugget of an analysis about the vampire Lestat. And it's really about Louis. I would say just a small overall arc on how I feel about him and his character. Keep in mind, y'all, these are fictional characters, so I don't want to get too, round in the comments about them, but still, I do want to give my view of it. Louis is selfish, point blank, period. And I kind of, it kind of irks me a little bit. Not irk me, but I kind of feel like people who can't see that about Louis are just so intent on liking him because of his disadvantage and I would say the way that race and things has played against him in this storyline, but he himself can still be his own villain. Like intersectionality is real. And I say that Louis is selfish because of Claudia and how that plays out. And when people say that, you know, Louis, we're looking at Louis from a modern take. I don't agree with that because if that's the case, then what would be the entire point of Claudia's storyline and her overall arc? Because we know that Louis is selfish. We get hints of it from the beginning, but it's confirmed in season two. And even from season one, when Claudia first runs away, she's pretty much telling Louis, like, bro, why didn't you just let me die? Because you knew that this vampiric experience was daunting. And not only was it daunting, it's cursing like I'm forever in this. Like you just prolonged her death because essentially she's going to have to die again. And her only way out of this existence is death. And even as she's in hell, she still don't have Madeline. We find that out in real time. So, and then like we found out in season two, Louis knew that Claudia's experience would have been fucked up from the get go when Lestat told him. Now, do I honestly believe that Louis is a horrible person because he still wanted Claudia turned? No. I think he was just inundated with his guilt, with his sorrow, really his despair. I think he was just so self absorbed, but not in a conceited way, self absorbed in I'm in this new existence and I cannot comprehend it. And all I know is that this is painful and it's so much different from what I've been accustomed to. And I need some type of normalcy, something that I feel as if is real to kind of hold on and bite onto. And I acted out in rage with this new power. Then I get the ramifications for it. And because of his race, he feels responsible because, a lot of black people, a lot of us see solidarity in one another. So he's like, fuck, I did this. Now other people are dying because of me. Now I have to fix this. So if anybody I can fix or anybody I can help, it's this young black girl. But I'm also doing it for myself because I want someone to hold on to who I can see in my own image in a sense, but also share this identity, which is race, and also in a sense class, even though him and Claudia are of different class structures. But when you have the umbrella of racism and prejudice, and keep in mind this is Jim Crow, they can still both be knocked down and be at the same level. So I think he just wanted that normalcy back. I want to feel as if I belong to something because Lestat could not relate. And I also think that Louis was a bit afraid of allowing himself to fully feel what he was feeling for Lestat because I think that would make him have to realize, feelings that he really has. Now back to Louis being selfish, and I would say Louis necessarily being a flawed character. I think a lot of people keep missing the fact that Louis was a pimp. This nigga was a pimp. Like, he had not one, not two, not three, but I believe eight whole houses. And just like in the original story, Louis, granted I haven't read the books, but just like in the original story, Louis himself struggled with, vampirism and the intersectionality of being moral and not wanting to kill people, yet he himself was a slave owner. So I do appreciate that they keep that thread of Louis is at this crossroads where he's trying to hold on to his humanity and is so important to him, yet his livelihood and his existence also exists by invalidating other people's humanity. Yes, he's using people as stock, like literally using women's bodies as stock to exchange and create fantasies for these men who want to have sex with them or do whatever they want with them. And they exchanged money for it. I mean, Louis said it himself in his monologue, his soliloquy in episode 1 of season 1, when he went to the church, when he got turned, when he pretty much said, I lied to myself, making myself believe that I'm doing good, but I'm just taking advantage of people. And essentially, that's what he's doing. So I feel as if we have to be honest and see Louis as a whole entire character, and saying that he's selfish is okay because it's true. It keeps showing up in his character, and it even shows up in season 3 in different ways. Like the way him and Lestat had that argument. Now Lestat trying to, even the playing field when it comes to, hey, I got a shitty mama just like you got a shitty mama. Yes, y'all both got shitty mamas, but like Louis said, his mama wasn't fucking him. So, bruh, I need you to sit that one down, boo. But still, Louis is not. He's not this innocent person, and it's okay to admit that he's flawed. Because another thing, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Are we really gonna act like Louis was not acting light skinned? Like, I really feel as if Louis himself had moments where he acted light skinned. And when I say light skinned, like he knew that his colorism or his skin color offered him benefit, and he rolled that motherfucker till the wheels fell off. And that is confirmed because the alderman, the very man that he killed when Louis was a vampire, back in season 1, we heard the alderman kind of talking about Louis just trying to hold on to that Creole heritage, trying his damnedest to hold on to it. In his mind, you still a nigga. But him having that light skinned mixed race privilege did allow him to be in these rooms amongst these white men, amongst these racist white men, and it allowed him a feat to be able to sit amongst them, look them in their face, and discuss business with them. So it most definitely catapulted him to a lot of privilege and a lot of protection, in a sense that the average black man and or black woman, especially if they were of dark skin, would not receive. Because Louis, first of all, like, let's go back to mama. His mama is Mama Du Lac. And that bitch is, you can't tell me. Her ass was high and snooty, snobby. Baby girl was the ultimate, I'm light skinned and you are yuck, bitch. I'm nowhere near the paper bag, so I know I'm good. My hair blow in the wind, and you are giving too much El Negro. I can't sit with it. I don't want to be seen with it. Because Louis, the time he was born in 1870. So he was born during Reconstruction. If we're gonna put this in a historical time frame, he was born during Reconstruction and was a grown man in Jim Crow. Him being able to be a pimp and have multiple whole houses, and to pretty much have stock in women, and then also, making himself believe that he doing good because he let them have, little businesses or whatever, and still being able to sit amongst these white men. We really supposed to act like Louis probably was not walking around thinking he was the shit, especially when he was amongst other black people. Oh, he was showing his ass. He was showing his ass. And even in real time now, when we see him early on in the season, when Raglan wants to talk to him, he pretty much coming to Louis to hire him as a damn assassin. Because Raglan is pretty much, from my understanding, in charge of the whole underworld that's studying and being, kind of like, keeping tabs on the supernatural. If he come to you, out of all the vampires he probably could come to and be like, bro, I need you to take out a whole coven of these motherfuckers because they cutting up. Because I know that's how efficient you are. My nigga, you was a pimp and you legit can take out a whole damn coven of vampires. You ain't that damn. You know how to get. He is a pimp. I'm gonna always keep going back to that. And not only do pimps sell sex and sell fantasies, they are also psychological warriors, okay? They know how to talk to people. They know how to use body language. They know how to anticipate body language. They know how to anticipate how you're gonna respond based off a certain emotional stimulus. And then on top of that, Louis was well, Louis is a black man. And yes, he's a Creole black man. And him being able to move in those circles, he had to anticipate, think 10 steps ahead. Think for him as a black man, think for Tom Anderson them as white men, how they would respond. And that's why I feel as if when we should pay attention to the times when they say, when especially when they was telling Daniel, you scared of Armand, but you probably really should be focused on Louis, because I honestly feel as if Louis, because of all of the facets he has had to wear throughout time, throughout history, because of his race, it has afforded him to be able to move throughout different personalities, different masks, and go unnoticed, because literally there was a time where his life depended on it. He had to go unnoticed. If not, he would have been dead. And so I do think that Louis has been in rooms that has allowed him to kind of like poke his chest out. And I believe that he's done that. And he has done that. And that's what makes him a flawed character, but that's also what makes him a real character. And even back to Claudia, he felt, I feel like, in a way entitled to hold on to something that he wanted or he needed. And in a way, I don't think that he saw Claudia as disposable, but I do think that he saw Claudia as, well, at least as the bare minimum, I can take her and give her a life that in his mind would be better than what she would even be dying from, because she was just in that border house. She was just probably around people who didn't care about her, who didn't want her. I could at least bring her over here with me. I'm gonna love her. I'm gonna coddle her, and she'll be with me. I will be happy, and she will be happy. I don't think Louis ever saw Claudia as her own entity because of his selfishness, but I also don't think he's a horrible person because of it. But trying to say that he ain't selfish and, oh, we're only seeing this from a modern standpoint, no, because if that's the case, why do we even have Claudia as a character? Louis is selfish. Louis got fuckboy ways. Louis was and still is a pimp. It shows up in how he moves throughout life. I mean, because even now he's such an entrepreneur, such a capitalist. And I also feel as if he uses that as a way to protect himself, but also a way to checkmate motherfuckers, just like he did Tom Anderson and just like he did Lestat when he was like, yeah, and I own about damn near half of your merch. How did he get that man's merch? That's what I'm saying. Louis know how to move in silence. And that's what makes him deadly. That's what really makes him deadly. And that's why I feel like, yes, Louis is a victim in many ways, but that motherfucker is a villain. And another interesting take before I leave, like you said, Lestat gave him the dark gift, and that did allow him to go full out into who he is as a true, I don't want to say true, but a full human being, because of his race and how it played against him and how it was used against him in America and still now. He's always had to be on his best behavior. So who would he have been if that was never a guardrail for him? How would he show up? So yeah, Louis a victim, but he also a villain, and he is fucking selfish. Period. He is selfish.